my beautiful baby sister. She was also my friend, and occasionally even my mum. She wore each of those hats to perfection. She was so strong, loving and fair. My first memory of Kay was when my mum was heavily pregnant. She was laying on her back with Auntie Sylvia, who lived in the basement, who claimed she had gypsy powers, swinging a threaded needle like a pendulum over the bump, ignoring which way it went anyway. She said, "It's a girl." And sure enough, a few weeks later, there was Kate. As an army brat, or as army brats, we drifted from country to country, making new friends and starting new schools every 18 months. It was a great adventure. We were posted to Aden when Kay was 6 weeks old. I used to feed Kay a bottle propped up on the bed, and then she progressed onto solids and she developed a healthy appetite. But this was for swan vest and matches and cigarette butts. Her chubby charcoal face chuckling along as they disappeared. Later, she would point and shout in a very deep, husky voice at Wald and Kayak. Her little face lit up when Dad worked out what she really wanted. It was actually salt and cake. As we floated around the empire, we did all the things that normal kids do, and a little bit more. She was here, I was there. 8 years the difference, but we always had good times. My kid sister, always walking into things. She even had a scar on her forehead, and always skinning her knees. Holidays in the army usually meant visiting family in England. I told Kay about our granddad Billy, who had a wooden leg, and that he'd let me kick it. We went to visit Grandad, and Kay, aged 3, ran up the path wearing huge saucer-sized red shoes, and without warning, kicked him squarely on the shin. Grandad screamed and we all laughed, because we thought it was the wrong leg. No, it was the wrong Grandad. The years ticked by, and Kay started work, and she came to stay with us for the weekend, 52 weekends on the trot, which we loved. And she moved to Westcliff with us when Michael was born, and she became his godson. And it was obvious then that she'd be a great mum. There are so many memories and so much to say, but obviously I'm limited to what I can say now. But I do have fantastic memories, and what I really want to say is, I held you as a child, and I held you here today, and I'll hold you in my heart forever. As I look into the night sky, we've got our little star, and I always think of you, and I know you'll miss me too. See you later, kiddo. Love you forever, big bro.
It was definitely...
What an excellent tribute. Well done, Kevin. Really super. Lovely big brother you were. Cigarette butts. And now we're going to invite Mason to read his tribute. Mason.
To the best mum that anyone could ask for. What I'd give to be able to hear you laugh one more time, or even see the Elvis lip that you made when you were angry or drunk. Ask anyone about Kay Sampson and they'll tell you that she loved her dogs and her kids more than anything, in that order. God help anyone that found themselves between mum and one of her babies. You were always the person that everybody can confide in and ask for help or advice, and we were so lucky to have had you shine a little bit of light on a seemingly dull world. I know that Dunelm and B&M sales will really have taken a hit now that you're not here to buy absolutely anything. The fault that you're probably up there laughing away at all of us now that we've got to sort through all of the chairs that you left behind. The ones that nobody was allowed to sit on is a happy one. There's so much that comes to mind when I think of mum. Love, laughter, support, friendship and accountancy. I will always be grateful that we've shared so many brilliant memories, not least the time that you commandeered a wheelchair in Turkey and made me run you down the high street after you drunk at least a bottle of Bacardi. Or the way you could always rotate around a pool, following the sun after you trying to achieve the maximum level of tan. You made all of us so proud. Right down to the last moment, you were stronger than we could have ever imagined. And I found some peace knowing that you were surrounded by just a handful of people that loved you the most. I'll never forget how amazing you were, but for now it's time to say goodbye. I think ourselves lucky that you're in our lives at all. To the beautiful lady that lived for her children and her dogs, be it two-legged or four. Oh, I messed that bit up. None of us have 4 legs. I love you now, forever, and always.
It's all right,
Baby
Ray.
Mason.
It's all right, Mason.
Well done, Mason. That was lovely. You really did. And now, our final tribute, which Francis is going to read, and that is going to be
So
from
sorry.
Tracy, Leslie, and Jamie.
I'm so sorry, Uncle and children, family.
This is a tribute from the Wilson family, Leslie, Tracy and Jamie, and it's for Kay, for their beautiful best friend.
Oh dear.
Kay was a very special friend to Tracy, Leslie and Jamie, and over the years they all became family. They shared thousands of memories. They have written a few which will ring a bell with some of you and make you smile. Tracy first met Kay when she was 16 in 1980, when she started working for multi-broadcast at a TV rental company on the Heathway at Dagenham. Tracy said that Kay was beautiful inside and out and had a most beautiful smile, and they instantly became besties. Tracy recalls becoming really nervous for her first driving test, and Kay took her to her flat in Green Lane and gave her a microwave burger and a glass of wine. Tracy failed her driving test because Kay got her drunk. Prior to the driving test, Kay persuaded Tracy to get a loan for their first set of wheels. Tracy got the loan, failed the test and blew the money on nights out in the town with Kay. Tracy and Kay had an unbreakable bond and were not just friends but sisters. They shared the good, the bad and the ugly things together, as sisters do. The bond between both families grew, and Kay's children became nieces and nephews, and Tracy's mum became Nanny Ed and became part of Kay's family. They found out that Kay's dad Brian was in the same regiment in the army as Tracy's dad Doug. More bonds. They shared wonderful caravan holidays, day trips and holidays abroad together. One trip to Tenerife, Tracy was 2 months pregnant, and Kay, probably had a premonition, said, "I bet you're having twins." And she was right. Tracy went on to have Charlie, Frankie and Kay. And Kay was their auntie and godmother. Charlie and Frankie adored Auntie Kay, and Charlie remembers her baking him a Paxo stuffing birthday cake. He was delighted. Frankie wishes he could have spent every Christmas at Kay's because she made the best roast beef, and his mum was like old rope. And no one has ever perfected roast beef like Kay. Tracy's sister and brother, Leslie and Jamie, became best friends with Kay too, and part of the family. And Leslie fondly remembers babysitting for Kay and John when they were at work and telling them endless stories of what the kids had been up to. Ryan eating the corners of the cheese from the fridge, and Leah putting her swimming costume on underneath her pyjamas. She said Mason completed Kay's family, along with all her fur babies. Kay allowed Leslie to experience what it was like to be a mum, and Leslie will be forever in her debt. Jamie has wonderful memories as well and describes the first dog Kay rescued which was a sandy mongrel named Chloe. Jamie said he recalls pinching some money so he could buy the dog a bone. That sounded about right for Jamie. Jamie said Kay had a natural empathy and compassion, and she was like a mother hen, taking everyone under her wing. Kay was a sister to Tracy, Leslie and Jamie, and an aunt and an amazing godmother to Charlie and Frankie. I have wonderful memories of Kay, her words of wisdom, love and support. She was everything to them and more, and will be forever in their hearts. To know Kay was to love her.
Thank you very much for that beautiful tribute and very well read.